The newest Han Solo trailer just came out and it was pretty good, and even though you probably noticed every little thing, I want to do a video about things you may have missed. If you actually did miss them, don't admit it though. Never admit it.
You're fulfilling your destiny.
First off, I think I just might be excited about this because of the Afra comic series where we delve more into his character and backstory, but in this movie, we might be getting Tam Pulsa. We clearly see someone that looks like him behind Lando during the gambling scene when Han meets him. If you don't remember this guy, he was a character created for Rogue One. He worked for a law enforcement agency and was working on a case involving Cornelius Evazan, going by Rufu at the time. Yeah, this wonderful person, and his buddy. Evazan hit many spots, kidnapping individuals and then subjecting them to horrific surgical altering. Tam was eventually taken off the case and found love with this guy, which was so adorable. The cool thing is, according to the history we have on this guy already, he could totally be in this area 10 years before Rogue One / A New Hope. If you really want to become more invested in this guy, I suggest reading the latest storyline in the Afra series. Warning, you'll shed a tear or two. Speaking of that gambling scene, we also had some interesting bits. Scissor Punch, who I made fun of in an earlier video, Argus Six Eyes, which sounds sort of racist, and we're going to see another one of these guys that we saw in The Phantom Menace. And of course, they're playing Sabacc, and we have different coins, including a Mandalorian one, which they're probably gambling in this location, which may have something that looks similar to something else. Yeah. Something I'm super stoked about, we're making Vibro Knucklers canon again. In Legends, the Vibro Knuckler was a weapon that the user wore on their fists and provided extra power to their punch and the ability to slash and pierce. These were typically activated when the user squeezed their fist. I personally love the Vibro weapons in The Last Jedi, so to see more variants is such a delight, especially when they take weapons from Legends and make them canon again. And it clearly looks like our crime boss is using them, and is also a collector of many things, as that looks like a Sith holocron, which, by the way, Sith holocrons have been popping up quite a bit lately. Everyone betraying you line was interesting because it shot to a few people as he said that. The most interesting, Qi'ra and Lando. I think that was both a wink wink and a hint. Lando does betray Han in the future when
This deal is getting worse all the time.
And I also think Qi'ra is going to backstab Han at some point. How crazy the betrayal is to be seen, but given her backstory, it makes her double-crossing him kinda to be expected. Also, I want to point out that it's kinda sad, but not really, that Han never learned that lesson. He didn't learn it with Lando, and he definitely didn't learn it with Space Hitler. Oh, and we're going to see Chewbacca being rescued by Han, but I feel like everyone that is familiar with Legends even a little bit suspected we would see that. Chewie clearly isn't wearing his typical outfit here and is looking in pretty rough shape. We also see Han in a trooper uniform, and he is chained to Chewie, which leads me to believe Han is recruited by the Imperials. He works at the spice mines of Kessel, steps out of line when he thinks something is unjust, gets attached to Chewie to work in the spice mines as a punishment, and then we see him help the Wookiee escape along with himself, likely helping Chewbacca get his family out as well, as we see him put his head against another Wookiee, which has me believing it's his wife Mala. Or it could be Lumpy. I'd imagine if Han got Chewbacca and his wife and kid out, that'd make Chewie's life debt all the more meaningful. And if you're worried that Chewie's wife is going to die, or even his son, don't be worried. Both of them are in canon post Return of the Jedi. Also, if we go by Chewie's age, that means we're seeing a late teens, early 20s Han, which I think is way better. Get him as far from Harrison Ford Solo's age as possible. Oh, and I definitely don't speak Wookiee, but does it sort of sound like Chewie says, "I look good," before Han says, "You look great"?
You look great!
Kinda, right? I doubt a single soul missed this, but we see the origin of Han's weapon. We see that Beckett is the one that gives Han his famous blaster, the DL-44. Now let's cross our fingers we don't get an origin story for every single little thing like we did in Legends, because, let's be honest, sometimes that shit got out of hand. I have a feeling the train heist is going to be the main mission of the movie. We can clearly see a train car being taken away, and the Cloud Rider gang flying in the clouds, which makes their name super on the nose. But pirates usually are, I think. We also know their leader is a woman. I don't know if that matters to anyone. Okay, so lastly, I want to end on some tidbits. Chewie's goggles are so adorable, same with the Funko Pop of him. I love it. The new troopers are sexy as hell. The range troopers are fantastic with their magnetic boots. And the mud troopers on Mimban look stellar as well. New ATSD, which I'm always on board for variants. Han having a good feeling is a nice wink wink at the
I got a bad feeling about this.
I expect a lot of these nods, but let's hope it doesn't become suffocating. The Millennium Falcon is seen pre-upgrades like her cannons. And finally, the Star Destroyer under construction is so awesome it hurts. And I'm hoping it's over Corellia because you know why.
I've outrun Imperial starships. Not the local bulk cruisers, mind you. I'm talking about the big Corellian ships now.
Oh, also Moloch is chasing Han, and they're both in land speeders that they actually both own. So what were your favorite Easter eggs and little things in the trailer? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thanks so much for watching. Please like the video and subscribe for more Star Wars videos.